All right, so Sony announced, I don't know, it's fucking the rest of its PlayStation Classic lineup. And all right, here we go.
Right after the last podcast has happened, so
Here
sorry.
we go again. Girls, what's my weakness, man? All right. Battle Arena Toshinden, Cool Borders 2.
This is the North American version.
North American. All right. Battle Arena Toshinden, Cool Borders 2, Destruction Derby, Final Fantasy 7, Grand Theft Auto, Intelligent QB, Jumping Flash, Metal Gear Solid, Mr. Driller, Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey, Rayman, Resident Evil Director's Cut, Revelations, Persona, Ridge Racer Type 4, Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo, Siphon Filter, Tekken 3, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six, Twisted Metal, and Wild Arms. All right, so that's a list of PlayStation games. Arguably some classics in there.
There's some classics in there. There's some that are not classics in there.
Yeah.
There's some that are strange choices. So,
Definitely some weird stuff in here. I know I'm not excited. I don't care about one of these. Let's go through. So Battle Arena Toshinden, not a good game. I do associate it with the PlayStation because it was one of the launch titles.
it's the ice climber of this one.
Yeah.
Where we're going to put it on here because you remember it was early. It sold well because
Yeah.
it was an early fighter for the system, but it's not. No one's going back and playing. No one wants like an HD remake of Battle Arena Toshinden.
I remember sleeping over at my buddy's house for his birthday. He had just gotten a PlayStation, and we stayed up and played Toshinden and Ridge Racer all night. A lot more of the original Ridge Racer than Toshinden, because Toshinden was miserable.
And the strange thing about this is that you already have a Tekken on here, so you got your fighting game
Yeah.
set. So that's why I think that's strange. All right, Cool Borders 2.
I called it. It's a classic. I know a lot of people looked at it and were like, well, that's surprising. I just had a feeling Cool Borders 2 was going to be on there.
Okay.
Destruction Derby. Didn't think of it, but that actually makes a lot of sense.
I brought it up when we talked about it, but I'm still surprised because it sold well from what I know, but it wasn't like a smash hit. But it's a fun game.
It's a Psygnosis game, though, and Sony owns Psygnosis now, so it's an
cheap.
easy one to put on.
There's no cost to them. Okay.
Final Fantasy 7, right, we knew. Grand Theft Auto, that was actually...
That's a huge misfire to me.
That's a weird one. They're playing on name.
Yes.
I had fun with it on the PlayStation, but it's not. I don't think it's going to amuse that many people. That's a wasted slot. I was really surprised to see that on there, to be honest.
Yeah, that's totally. Well, we got GTA on here. People are going to play it or be interested in it. It's like, no, it's a fine game. It's fun, but that's not a game that screams PlayStation to me. When I see
exactly.
The original GTA.
Intelligent Cube, great choice. Fantastic game. Used to be worth a lot of money. Still goes for about $30 to $35.
Now, did that sell well when that came out?
It didn't sell crazy when it came out. It's been highly sought after since.
But then why would you put it on there then? If it's not like
Because it's one people look for all the time in stores.
But is the average PlayStation fan going to say, I want to play this on the Classic?
I don't know. A lot of people I've been talking...
Well, let's put it this way. It's one of, three puzzle games on here? So maybe they want to fill a puzzle slot, but it's not like PlayStation was known by and large for puzzle games. Maybe that's why.
It's one of the most popular demos on the PlayStation. I remember everyone just keeping that demo disc.
They didn't release it past a long box, though, did they? Or was it long box?
No.
It was a regular one. Okay.
Regular.
Right.
Jumping Flash, we know, of course. Metal Gear Solid,
You had to put that on
had
there.
to be on there. Mr. Driller, that's a weird one. I love Mr. Driller, but I had the PlayStation version, but that's been on everything. I don't know that I associate Mr. Driller with PlayStation. Good game, great game, but it doesn't.
Weird choice.
Yeah, it's another one that it doesn't evoke PlayStation.
No.
Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey, good choice. That's definitely PlayStation.
See, what's the difference between that versus Exodus? I don't know if one's better than the other. I have no idea. I don't know much about it.
It's the original.
Okay.
Rayman, that makes a lot of sense.
So that's a platformer.
I was expecting that. Resident Evil Director's
You have
Cut.
to put a Resident Evil on
Fantastic. The original Persona, I would have thought Persona 2, as it's a better game, but for an RPG inclusion, not so bad. Persona's popular right now. Ridge Racer Type 4, yes. Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo. Odd But
Good game.
very good game, and it is one that I associate a lot with the PlayStation. I know
It was only on the PlayStation. Was it on the Saturn?
it was on the Saturn.
But most people would have got it on the PlayStation.
Yes, and it's
So-
one that I associate a lot of.
So that's what I mean.
memories with.
I'd rather have that on than something like Intelligent Cube because at least it has brand recognition. It was an arcade game as
They're
well.
two really different styles of game.
Yeah,
though.
but Intelligent Cube, most people are going to just play that for a second and never play it again on the Classic, I think.
I don't. They're so different in how they play.
I don't think people are buying this for Intelligent Cube. I just don't.
I don't know. I had people tell online I saw saying they were buying it because of Intelligent Cube.
Yeah, your little weird collecting group of people. Anyway, Siphon Filter.
That makes sense.
It makes
first one.
sense. I mean, you already have Metal Gear Solid. You put I mean, it was a huge series, so I see why. But to me, I'm now thinking about what games are too similar to each other to fill up slots. Tekken 3, you got to put a Tekken on there.
Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six does not go on there.
No, absolutely not.
That's
And
the weirdest entry that I can possibly think of.
That's one of the weirdest ones to me.
No one
Associates Rainbow Six
with PlayStation.
I'm sure it sold okay, but it's a PC game first and foremost.
Yep.
It did huge numbers on PC. I'm sure Control's okay. I'm sure people bought it and liked it. Twisted Metal.
You have to. I'm just surprised it wasn't 2. 2 is the best.
But now
one.
you're getting into how many racing games? Twisted Metal, Ridge Racer, Destruction Derby. Now I think we're getting into the realm of this is getting and if you want to say GTA has driving on it.
3 different types of racing games. There was a lot of racing games made in that era. You can't avoid it.
But instead of if you put Gran Turismo on there instead of Destruction Derby, I understand you could probably get the license again for those cars. Maybe I don't know how that license works.
Yeah, I think that would be a pain.
But that's to me the iconic racing game is Gran Turismo on the PlayStation. But I understand
that's
why
a license problem.
Probably Destruction Derby's cute. It was fun. Even the regular racing's pretty good. And then you have Wild Arms at the end. Okay, this does not get me excited at $100.
No,
it doesn't. I think that's part of it. Obviously, I'm not a huge PlayStation person, but out of all these, there's obviously games left off. The fact that we can get into the reasons why there's not a Castlevania on here. We can get into the reasons, they're re-releasing these games. Whatever, it's still not on here. Regardless of the reasons why it's not on here, they had to try to make some of these games. No Parappa on here is weird.
I understand it though. I mean, the input lag timing has always kind of ruined most modern home ports of Parappa.
We know they're re-releasing the Crash games, and I make fun of Crash, but it's an iconic PlayStation game. It should be on here, regardless. It should be on here.
Yeah, I think I think weird release timing has honestly hurt this a lot because they're not thinking about the longevity of the item. They just want this to sell this holiday season.
Sure.
So Konami was like, well, we can't. Because that if we put Symphony of the Night on here, no one's going to buy our digital re-release that we just put out. Although Symphony of the Night
I think
on
they
here,
still would though. But yeah, because this will be the original PlayStation.
Well, I don't know if they would. I mean, I can't think of any other reason why they wouldn't put a Symphony of the Night on here when they've obviously got Konami's backing.
This is what I would say. I think people would be so much more excited if they swapped out. I know you like Intelligent Cube, but if you swapped that out for Castlevania, you got rid of Rainbow Six. You put in Crash Bandicoot. That alone, I think, would be like, oh my god, I'm excited. Like all you had to do is like swap out 2 games for 2 others, and I think people would be a lot more excited than what they were. I think that's what it is. There's too many. Once you get to like 4 or 5 questionable choices, which is 25% of your games, now some people were even saying they're upset about Super Puzzle Fighter 2. I understand why. I don't agree. I still think it's a quality game, should be on there, but I can see why you're upset when other games aren't on there. I do. So yeah.
I also feel like,
and plus it's $100 again. It's not $60. It's not $80. It's $100 for this.
And I also feel like 30 games should have been the.
Should have went up to 30.
Yeah, I feel like 30 is the right target for these sorts of systems.
For $100, it should be.
I feel like the Super Nintendo Mini got away with it by being under, and honestly, it was pulling some cream of the crop titles out of there.
Yes.
With Final Fantasy.
There wasn't filler going on really with that.
Final Fantasy, you had Earthbound, I mean, you had some pretty.
You have Street Fighter, you have Mario Kart, you have Super Mario World.
Super Mario RPG. I mean, you had like 4. You had
Star
four,
Fox 2, which was never not released before.
You had like 4 money RPGs on there though. So I mean,
there wasn't any questionable choices to the extent where we're looking at this like, why is this on here? So I think as long as it's killer, no filler, I think you're okay. But this is definitely filler. Rainbow Six is insanely questionable on here.
Rainbow Six to me is that everything else to me has a reason to be on here in some way, reason, shape, or form. I'm just not overly that excited. I love the original PlayStation, but I liked it for certain games. This tries to hit everything. Rainbow Six, I saw that was like a big sore fucking thumb. Rainbow Six made no sense.
No, let's see. Would you put Jet Moto on there?
Oh, I actually did want Jet. I announced, I called that, and it wasn't there. That seems weird.
Wouldn't that make more sense than Destruction Derby?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's a different type of racing game?
Yeah, sure.
That's what I mean. Like, that's what I just think there were choices that they just said, well, this is the cheap choice. We got it. Let's do it. And again, these are 20 slots, not 30. If there were 30 slots, I can see you putting Battle Arena on there just for shits and giggles. But not when there's only 20 slots. You can't. You just can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, you could easily axe Battle Arena and no one would miss it. I mean, you've got Tekken.
I saw people upset there's no Silent Hill on here. I saw people upset. So, you have two games in the same category with Metal Gear Solid and Siphon Filter. Why not have Resident Evil and a Silent Hill? Like, why not do that instead? So yeah,
another argument for 30 then too. I mean, so that you're allowed to have two similar games.
That's what I mean. I would be less like if you look at the Japanese one. You want to pull up the Japanese list? You would probably love the Japanese one compared to this.
Let me see it. I've never seen it.
You haven't? Okay, because guess what? Guess what? Big genre is pretty much off this list. It's on that one.
Huh.
Let's bring it up here. I should have had a link to it. My bad.
Oh, that's Parasite Eve. One of my favorite RPGs.
You get some good old shooters on the Japanese one.
Oh, let's take a look at this. Come on. Click through. You little butt.
You get Arc the Lad 2.
All right, so Arc the Lad 2, Armored Core, Gradius Gaiden,
Intelligent Cube,
Saga Frontier,
Devil Dice. I never heard of that. What's that?
G Darius, and Parasite Eve. That's awesome. Yeah, that's.
To you, that's a better list, just because it has a few shooters in there that are good.
So I like Arc the Lad and Arc the Lad 2. They're strategy RPGs. Honestly, they're fun. I don't need them, but Armored Core, Gradius Gaiden, Saga Frontier, G Darius, Parasite Eve. I mean, if I had those on this one in English, yeah, that's amazing. And then, so the PlayStation Classic game exclusives, Cool Borders 2, could do without it. I like it, but I mean, I wouldn't cry. Destruction Derby, Grand Theft Auto, Oddworld Apes Odyssey, Rayman, Siphon Filter, Rainbow Six, I would give up all of those. I mean,
for some of these here, like especially like the shooters on here.
I mean, I would if I had my way and I
Your
could
druthers?
If I had my druthers,
Your druthers.
And I could only work with what was here, I'd keep Cool Borders 2 and get rid of
customize your PS1 Classic.
I would probably keep Cool Borders 2 and I would probably keep Rayman and I'd get rid of the Arc the Lads. Just because I've played them before. I mean, they're fun games, but I don't need them.
But you just see the difference there. Maybe
Yeah.
I mean, the shooters did probably okay in the U.S., right? But they kept them off the Classic for some reason, which is kind of not even one shooter.
G Darius is really fun too.
So anyway, not much else to say about this. But again, this is $100. It's not only 60 or 80. I think that's what I think you're right about. They should have bumped it up to like 30 games or at least 25. Something that would be like, okay, now the questionable ones kind of go to the wayside a bit.
Yeah.
Rainbow Six is not going to be played on this by anyone.
That's such a crazy throwaway, especially seeing as how there's these Japan exclusive games. Like literally any of those games would have been more exciting.
Put a couple of shooters on, swap out, get rid of Destruction Derby for a shooter. Do that.
I saw a lot of people want I did see people like floating around. Oh, Parasite Eve would be cool too, and then here it is on the Japanese one.
Yeah. All right. Well, it is what it is. It's not a strong showing. It's not as strong.
It's a blown opportunity.
So I think it'll hurt a little bit. Again, it's no longer an impulse price. You like to say it's no longer an impulse buy.
No, it's not something you're just gonna walk through a store and pick up.